You walk into a restaurant, not just any restaurant, the kind where reservations are made 3 months in advance, and the sommelier earns more than most doctors. Within 5 seconds, before you have even reached your table, someone has already sized you up completely, not the host, not the waiter, the man at the corner table who barely looked up from his conversation. That man who wears a Patek Philippe, the way others wear a Casio, has already made 17 micro-calculations about who you are based on signals you did not even know you were broadcasting. Science backs this up. Researchers at the University of California, Berkeley, discovered that people can accurately identify someone's socioeconomic status from just 60 seconds of silent body language footage. 60 seconds. You have been evaluated in 5. The question is not whether you are being judged. The question is whether you will pass. Let me tell you about Michael Krauss and Dasha Keltner. These psychologists found something fascinating. Upper-class individuals display what they call disengagement behaviors during interactions, doodling, fidgeting, looking away, not because they are rude, but because they do not need you. They are resource independent. Lower-class individuals, by contrast, display engagement behaviors, nodding, laughing, maintaining constant eye contact. They signal dependence. They signal need. Observers watching these interactions with zero context about income or background correctly identified who came from wealth 68% of the time, from body language alone. No words, no clothing brands visible, just the way someone held themselves in space. So what exactly are these signals? What are the 7 things that give you away before you even speak? Let us start with the first one, your eyes. Not what you look at, but how you look. When you enter a room, do your eyes scan nervously for approval? Do they dart to see who noticed you? Or do they move with the calm assessment of someone who knows the room will adjust to them, not the other way around? Robert De Niro in Heat walks into that coffee shop to meet Al Pacino. Watch his eyes. They do not beg, they survey. That 5-second sweep tells you everything. A rich man recognizes this immediately because he does the same thing. He enters spaces assuming he belongs there. When he sees someone whose eyes are asking permission to exist, he knows. Contrast this with someone whose gaze is steady but not aggressive. Someone who makes eye contact without desperation. That person has been in rooms like this before. They have learned that the world will not swallow them whole. The eyes are the first giveaway, and you have about 2 seconds before he moves to the second signal. Your posture, not the Instagram version where you throw your shoulders back and puff your chest like a rooster. The real kind, the kind that comes from your spine, from decades of knowing you will be heard when you speak. There is a reason actors study movement. Daniel Day-Lewis spent months learning to move like a 19th century oil baron before filming There Will Be Blood. He understood that wealth has a physical memory. Your body learns whether it needs to make itself small or whether it can expand. A man from wealth walks without apologizing for the space he occupies. His shoulders are not tense. His stride is not rushed. Why would it be? Where does he need to be that is more important than where he is? Compare this to someone who hustled their way up. That person moves with efficiency, with purpose, sometimes with aggression. They earned their place, and their body remembers the fight. A rich man sees this. He sees the difference between inherited ease and acquired confidence. Both have value, but they tell different stories. Your posture has just given away chapter 1 of your autobiography. 3 seconds gone. Now your hands. What are they doing? Are they fidgeting with your phone, adjusting your collar, playing with your watch? Or are they simply still? Psychologist Amy Cuddy studied power poses, but she missed something. The truly powerful do not need to pose. Their hands rest because they have nothing to prove in this moment. When Warren Buffett sits in an interview, watch his hands. They barely move. He is not selling you anything. A man who has spent his life building wealth through effort, on the other hand, often has active hands. He is used to doing, to making, to controlling. Neither is wrong. but they are different. And a rich man notices. He notices if your hands are seeking comfort through distraction, or if they are comfortable in stillness. This happens in second 4. By now, he has moved past you. He is back in his conversation, but he has registered everything, your voice. Even if you have not spoken yet, he can predict it. How? Because voice follows body. If your body is tight, your voice will be high. If your body is relaxed, your voice will be grounded. But let us say you do speak. Maybe you greet someone nearby. The speed of your speech gives you away instantly. People who grew up with money tend to speak slower. They were raised in environments where being interrupted was rare. They learned that people will wait for them to finish. They do not rush to fill silence, because silence was never dangerous. People who clawed their way up often speak faster. They are used to fighting for airtime, to making their point before someone cuts them off. Neither is bad. But they are recognizable. A recent study showed that vocal patterns can indicate socioeconomic background with surprising accuracy. Researchers found that people from higher socioeconomic backgrounds tend to speak with what they call vocal fry, less stress in the voice, more air. This is not about accent. This is about whether your throat is tight with the need to prove something or open with the assumption that you will be heard. Second 5 arrives. He has assessed your clothing without seeming to look at it. Here is what most people get wrong. They think rich men look for logos, for Hermes, for Rolex, for the obvious signals. They do not. Actual wealth whispers. It does not shout. Tom Ford once said that elegance is when the inside is as beautiful as the outside. A rich man looks for fabric quality, for tailoring, for the small details that only money and taste can buy. But more importantly, he looks for whether you are wearing your clothes or your clothes are wearing you. Are you comfortable? Or are you constantly aware that you are dressed up? The man who grew up attending charity galas at the Met does not think about his dinner jacket. It is just what he wears to dinner. The man who saved up to buy his first Brioni suit is aware of it every second he has it on. His body is slightly stiff. He moves carefully to avoid wrinkles. Both men look good. But one is home in his clothes. The other is visiting. A rich man sees this because he lived the first version. Your relationship to your clothing has been noted. Within these 5 seconds, he has also registered your relationship to your phone. This is subtle but significant. How often do you check it? When anxiety rises, do your eyes drop to the screen? People who grew up wealthy tend to have a different relationship with their devices. Not because they are better people, but because their phones were never their primary source of validation. Their identity was built in country clubs and dinner tables, not in social media likes. Someone building their brand, building their network, building their escape velocity from the class they were born into will have a more intense relationship with their phone. It is their tool, their weapon, their connection to opportunity. A rich man does not judge this. He simply notes it. He knows what hunger looks like because even if he has never felt it financially, he has seen it in every entrepreneur, every striver, every person trying to climb. Your phone usage has told him whether you are established or ascending. Both are fine, but they are different. The 7th and most damning signal, how you handle silence. Are you comfortable when the conversation pauses, or do you rush to fill the gap with words? Any words, just to avoid the void. People from wealth learn early that silence is not threatening. Their family dinners included pauses. Their negotiations included strategic quiet. Silence meant thinking, not failure to connect. People from working-class backgrounds often experience silence differently. In their homes, silence could mean anger, tension, disapproval. So they learned to fill it, to keep the energy moving, to prove through constant engagement that everything is okay. Neither approach is right or wrong, but they are recognizable. Studies on communication patterns show that comfort with silence is directly correlated with childhood socioeconomic status. It is not about being introverted or extroverted. It is about whether silence feels safe or dangerous. Here is what makes all of this simultaneously brutal and beautiful. You cannot fake these signals. Not really, because they are not conscious. They are written into your nervous system over decades. Your body learned how to exist in the world long before your mind knew what class was. This is why social mobility is both possible and hard. You can earn money, you can buy the clothes, you can learn the wine, but your body remembers. It remembers if you grew up being told to be quiet because adults are talking, or being asked your opinion at the dinner table when you were 7. It remembers if you learned to take up space or make yourself small. Rich men recognize these things not because they are cruel, but because they read the same way you read a language you have spoken since birth. Automatic, instant, unconscious. But here is the twist. This is not a life sentence. Awareness is the first tool of transformation. Once you know what signals you are sending, you can begin the work of rewiring, not faking. Rewiring. There is a difference. Faking is exhausting and obvious. Rewiring is about genuinely changing your relationship to space, to silence, to self. It is about healing the parts of you that learn to apologize for existing and teaching them that you belong in any room you choose to enter. This is not about pretending to be from old money. This is about deciding that your dignity, your presence, your right to occupy space is not negotiable regardless of where you started. Michael Krauss found something else in his research. While upper-class individuals can be more disengaged, lower-class individuals show higher empathic accuracy. They are better at reading emotions, at understanding what others are feeling. Why? Because they had to be. When resources are scarce, your survival depends on reading the room correctly, on knowing when your boss is in a bad mood, on sensing when to speak and when to stay quiet. This is not weakness. This is a sophisticated survival skill that many born into wealth never develop because they never needed it. So if you came from the bottom, you have something they do not. You have the ability to read people with surgical precision. You have hunger. You have adaptability. You have the knowledge that nothing is guaranteed, which makes you work harder, think faster, move smarter than someone who always had a safety net. The rich man at that corner table in that expensive restaurant has assessed you in 5 seconds. He has placed you in a category based on 1,000 micro-expressions you did not know you were making. But here is what he does not know. He does not know what you will become. He does not know that you are watching him just as carefully, learning his patterns, understanding his world, so that you can take your place in it. Not as an imposter, but as someone who earned entry through excellence. The signals you send today are not permanent. Your body can learn new languages. Your nervous system can be retrained. Every room you enter with your head high teaches your spine that you belong there. Every silence you sit in without flinching teaches your throat that you do not need to fill space with noise to prove your value. Every time you wear quality over logos, you are telling yourself that real luxury does not announce itself. It simply is. If you want to be an elegant and powerful man, subscribe to this channel and leave a like. Because elegance is not about where you started, it is about where you are going and how you carry yourself on the way there. Power is not given. It is taken by men who understand the game well enough to play it better than those who inherited the board. You have 5 seconds to make an impression. Make them count, not by pretending to be something you are not, but by becoming someone who belongs everywhere because you decided you do. That decision, that internal shift from asking permission to assuming access, changes everything. It changes your eyes, your posture, your hands, your voice, your relationship to clothing, to phones, to silence. It changes how you move through the world. And when it does, that rich man at the corner table will look up from his conversation and recognize something different. Not old money, not new money, but someone who understands that true power has nothing to do with your bank account and everything to do with how you value yourself. Let me tell you something about the men who built empires from nothing. Men like Andrew Carnegie, who arrived in America with nothing and became one of the richest men in history. Or Ray Kroc, who was selling milkshake machines at 52 before building McDonald's into a global empire. These men did not have the right signals at first. Their bodies carried the weight of poverty. Their voices carried the accent of struggle. But they rewired themselves through relentless exposure to the rooms they wanted to belong in. They studied, they watched, they learned, not to fake it, but to evolve into it. Your 5 seconds will improve with every high-stakes room you enter, with every negotiation you sit through, with every silence you embrace instead of fill. This is not about being born into the right family. This is about being reborn into the right mindset. So the next time you walk into that restaurant, that boardroom, that country club, where you are the only one who remembers what it feels like to check your bank account before ordering dinner, remember this. You are not there to prove you belong. You are there because you decided you do. Your eyes do not seek permission. They assess. Your posture does not apologize. It commands. Your hands do not fidget. They rest in the confidence that you have nothing to prove to anyone except yourself. Your voice does not rush. It speaks with the certainty that you will be heard because what you have to say matters. Your clothes do not scream. They whisper quality. Your phone stays in your pocket because the person in front of you is more important than the notification on your screen. And when silence arrives, you sit in it like a king on a throne, knowing that your value is not determined by how much noise you make, but by the impact you have when you choose to speak. Consider becoming a member of this channel, starting at $4.99. Click the membership button. Your support helps us continue creating content that transforms how you show up in the world. Let me ask you something. What did you learn today? What is the one signal you are going to work on rewiring first? Think about it. If you enjoyed this video, comment with these words. I belong everywhere. 6 words that change everything. Subscribe to this channel and leave a like if you want to be elegant and powerful. Because elegance is not about having money. It is about having presence. And power is not about controlling others. It is about mastering yourself. Those 5 seconds, they belong to you. Make them legendary.